The 400 days have passed. Finally, I can awaken the king. I don't know how this is going to go down. This could be the world's shortest episode of anything. I could literally leave this room and that will be the end. I guess we'll see. Not really much I can do here right now, is there? I think he's still asleep. Doesn't seem to be doing anything. Wasn't a cutscene immediately or anything. Yeah, awaken the king. We can do it when we want. There's one thing I want to deal with first, though. There's been one sort of overhanging, overarching, sort of dangling temptation throughout this entire game. And if I can't do it now, then I probably never can. So we're going to go have a quick look at one thing before we do our prescribed stuff. It does seem like the game just does continue, so you can probably just do everything, right? If I wanted, I could just keep this game going, not awaken the king, and just go achievement farming or whatever, do everything, but I think we've done most of everything. I am missing a few achievements, don't get me wrong, but on the whole, I think I've been pretty thorough. I'm actually pretty proud of my time I've spent with this game, just on the basis that, like, yes, I had to look a couple things up. One of them I sort of looked up just because I was already on the roll of looking things up more than anything else, but like that stalk thing I might have been able to, stumble into at some point. Yeah, there were some things that were pretty enigmatic, pretty tangled knots, let's say, that I probably wouldn't have been able to undo on my own. Not without being willing to just sit and watch certain screens for extended periods of time, and without even knowing that I was supposed to be doing that, the chances of me actually achieving that were, basically zero. So, like, I don't think I ever was going to get through this game completely without a walkthrough, but I think for the most part, I did a lot of it off my own back, and I can be proud of that. Anyway. The day we wake up the king is the day we rob him blind. At the very least, fucking try to. You see there's 2 marks on the glass here? I don't know if we've been back here since I made my second mark, because that was the thing I did when we lost the footage, which was not ideal. Let's make a third. Oh, I cracked the glass. It's only a matter of time before it breaks completely. Oh, time. Ah. Problem is, time isn't passing anymore. I don't know if this would ever... Well, I guess maybe if I'd done this at the tail end of the last episode instead of waiting to do it now, I could have had my treasure. Oh well. You win some and lose some. I'm such a coward. I've had the third Mattock for a few episodes at this point, right? I should have just swung it. I should have just gone for it. I didn't need it for anything else. Didn't even need to dig out my home. Like, what was the point of half of that? I'd rather have had the money. Get rich or die trying, Oh well, that, I believe, is everything I wanted to do. So on that note, let's go say wakey wakey to an old friend. I'm very intrigued as to what it all means. Right? What is the purpose? Why did the king want to sleep for 400 days? What will he do when he wakes up? Like, obviously, these are the questions that are meant to have spurred us on throughout this game. Honestly, they've been pushed to the back for the most part. I've been more focused on, like, the immediate stuff. Like, how do I get to this specific area? Or what do I do with these mushrooms? Or, like, what do I get when this stalactite falls down? It's always been sort of focused on the next thing, which is kind of how you have to get through a length of time like 400 days, right? You can't just be like, okay, I'll wait 400 days, turn off brain. You have to set yourself mini tasks, and I think this game has done a relatively good job of that. I think it would have been better if there was more like at the start of the game, it was like, this will fall down in a week, this pool will fill up in a month, you know, stuff like that. That sort of went away after a while, and it was more down to like the puzzle solving elements, which was cool. I'm glad there were puzzle solving elements in there, but I think it would have been, I would have preferred it if there was some like concrete, something will happen after this much time, you know, something to keep me a bit more invested even when like my brain wasn't producing the results and everything seemed a bit hopeless for progression in other directions. If there was something like a dangling carrot in a few more places, that would have been cool. But yeah, for the most part, it kept me engaged enough to keep playing at least. I got mad at it, I got frustrated at it, but I'm still here, and I'm waking up the king. The 400 days have passed. The wait is finally over. How will the king reward his most faithful guardian? Probably kill me or something. Awaken the king. It's time to wake up. Oh. I was beginning to think nothing was going to happen. Is that the end? My faithful shade, you have awakened me, and I have kept my promises. I have created a world without longing, by destroying everything in it. What's this button? All life has perished, but we need it no longer. We shall forever rule this eternal kingdom. Well, I can't say I was expecting a happy ending, but the king destroying the world wasn't quite on my bingo card, I'm not gonna lie. The longing has ended. I mean, there's a manner of ways to interpret this based on my own interpretation, based on my belief that the entire thing, the cave system, is a reflection of the Shade's inner turmoil, his mind, if you will, struggling with isolation and everything, right? This could be seen as, you know, the isolation has ended. He's free. He's escaped this place. He's able to sort of live a normal life. It could also be seen as suicide. 400 days of isolation. He just decided that was it, you know? Destroyed his inner turmoil one way or another. It's interesting that essentially the Shade is kept, like looking at it from a lot more literal perspective, the Shade is kept in isolation. He's clearly longing for interaction with other people, right? He's kept there in that cave for 400 days, and then if he knew exactly what was going to happen, which obviously, I mean, I didn't, I just wanted to see the end. But assuming he was forewarned and forearmed with that knowledge, he then has a choice between living eternally in isolation or destroying the people he wants to connect with. It's a meaningful ending. I'm not going to say it's not. Like, my first reaction was like, this is a bit of a cop-out, but I see there's a lot of theorizing that can be drawn from it, you know? This does appear to be the end though. There's like, I can't even like, there's no like return to main menu, start a new game or anything. We're just here until I close the game now. So I guess that's it. I guess we wrap up. Thanks for watching. I've made my feelings about this game very clear. With a game this long-winded and uneventful, you have plenty of time to just sort of dwell on it and make your case, you know? Like, so if you want to know my exact sort of opinion on this game at any point, go back and look at any of the episodes I've recorded, right? Overall, I'm glad this game exists. It's a very unique game. Is that slowly fading out? It is, isn't it? That is very slowly fading out. I'm sure that text was more clear before. Anyway, yeah, it's a very unique game. It has a very unique concept. It ties gameplay into its theming very well by basically having none. It correctly evokes the feelings it's setting out to evoke. It manages to impart its themes very well. And I do like a lot about it, you know? I mean, the art style and the music and everything are all very simplistic. They're not necessarily something that jump off the page and make me go, oh yeah, that's the best looking game, best sounding game I've ever played, but it does well, as does the sound effects. Good sound design as well, generally. It all fits very nicely. I would never recommend this to anyone. I would never go out to anyone and say, hey, you have to play this game. This is a must-play game. Like, I could describe the game to them and be like, see, isn't that cool? But it's the sort of... It's almost like self-punishing, this game, right? It's not an easy play. I mean, I played Pathologic recently. That is a game that punishes the player over and over and over again, beats the player to death with its own mechanics until the player learns to min-max the fuck out of it, because otherwise you're just going to suffer, right? That was a more pleasant experience than this. So, yeah, I don't know if I can recommend this one. This is probably one of the only times I've ever said this on this channel. Normally if I get to the end of a series, then I've liked it enough to recommend it. This, I both like and hate. Very weird, but if you have enjoyed watching this at all and think it's an artistic statement worthy of support, which that I will agree with, by all means go pick the game up for yourself. See if you can hit all the few little bits and pieces I missed throughout your playthrough. I'm sure that'll be very cool. And yeah, support indie devs. I'll say it time and time again. Beat you over the head with it. Support indie devs. I don't care if you pirate fucking Assassin's Creed or Call of Duty, you know, whatever. But games made as passion projects by passionate people deserve support regardless of whether the game itself necessarily clicked with you, right? So, yeah. That said, I believe I was sort of waiting here to see if anything would happen after the text faded out, but the game is intended as a one-time experience, but if you really insist, you can restart the game from the very beginning, reset. I probably won't be doing that. It's nice that you can. I was concerned for a second. I remember there was... Sorry, I'm going off on a bit of a tangent here, but fuck it. What else am I going to do with the rest of this video's runtime? There was a shooter game, I think, called like One Life or something, where if you died, that was it. You bought the game, you played it until you died, and then you never played it again. And I was suspecting this might be the same, which would be a very bold move. But this is probably the better way of doing that. Make some achievement hunters very mad otherwise, wouldn't it? Yeah, as I say, I will not be playing through this game again, I don't think, but I'm glad I played it once, even if it was tough going at times. Anyway, on that note, my Blasphemous 2 playthrough is also nearing its end, so go watch that. Go see me struggle with that game instead of struggling with this one, because it's a very different struggle, I'll tell you that. Oh. That's interesting. That I might be more willing to do. If I can go back to the end of the game and sort of finish up the remaining achievements, I might potentially do that. Anyway, video is wrapping up. We're done here. I have nothing more to say. Thanks as ever for watching. There's always more shit on this channel, so stick around if you want to see more shit. And bye.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.